Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back to your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about Ripple and XRP. So let's just dive in, and let's start off with this tweet here from Riz XRP. So we have this little image that's just saying financial freedom just ahead, because he is quoting his own tweet where he said 2.37 quadrillion dollars is the dollar value of the amount of securities transactions that the DTCC has processed in 2021 alone. That's right, 2.37 quadrillion dollars. Now, I'm going to play this quick clip from R3, and we do see in this clip from QuarterCon 2022, the DTCC's Henna, I'm not even going to try to pronounce her last name, sits down with Richard Brown to discuss the scope of the DTCC's responsibilities in the U.S. financial system. View the full session to hear about DTCC's new alternative settlement platform powered by no other than Corda. And what are two assets that could not only provide real-time settlement on Corda, but also increase the scalability, the efficiency, lower the cost, all that around settlement, around securities? Oh yeah, that's right, XRP as well as XDC. Now listen closely to this, and then we will address a few things around this.
$2.37 quadrillion. That is the dollar value of the amount of securities transactions DTCC processed in 2021 alone. 2.37 quadrillion.
How many? I'm just trying to think, how many zeros is that?
How many zeros are there in that quadrillion? So more than 50 years, we've been seamlessly clearing and settling the transactions related to US securities, government and mortgage-backed securities, and fixed income assets.
That is insane. So you settle these trades?
Exactly. So if you're talking about the SIFMUs, out of the 8 designated SIFMUs in the US financial market, we operate 3 of them. So what does that mean? Like, when you say we operate 3 of the SIFMUs, any failure to one of our clearing agencies or subsidiaries could cost a systemic risk in the US financial system, which in turn translates to the global financial market itself. So that is why we are always supervised by heightened security and regulatory standards by all the regulators, including SEC.
So yeah, absolutely incredible, insane as well. Now, I do want to play this clip down here that RizXRP posted, and this is from XRP Darren. Guys, I want to go check out Darren over on YouTube as well as on Twitter. I highly suggest that you should. Darren Moore is his name. And listen closely to this clip. It's about 46 seconds long, and then we will move on.
You still working with Ripple at all as a company? I know that there was some extracurricular activity that was working its way through the courts, but and it's since been resolved. But I'm curious if there's ongoing discussions, since one of their primary focus is on the interbank settlement component that you're also touching.
So frankly, Ripple's probably the only topic I can't talk about. So I just don't talk about it. I can't talk about it. I can't talk about it.
And the genesis for this call, really, you're at least.
So yeah, they can't talk about it. There's NDAs in place around a lot of the things that we talk about on this channel. In my opinion, when we look at the DTCC, when we look at R3, when we look at Ripple, when we look at things happening around the financial markets of tomorrow, today, and even yesterday, we are seeing big shifts happening. $2.37 quadrillion, will it be settled over XRP? We don't know. But we just know that $2.37 quadrillion is going to be, moving towards DLT and DLT systems, and having that amount settled through any DLT in this space will not only create massive, no pun intended, ripples throughout this entire system and this entire asset class, but it will also change the entire trajectory of this entire industry. And it's not going to change the trajectory of every asset in the space, but when we look at the most efficient, the higher grade tokens, the utility tokens, it's going to change their entire path, and it's going to be very, very exciting. Now, I do want to bring you guys over to ISO 20022. Now, with this, hey, does ISO mean anything? Well, we will address that here in a second, but we do know that migration is happening. This got posted back in November from Citi, Treasury, and Trade Solutions, really kind of addressing a lot of things happening around, just the migration time frame, what it really means, who's leading the initiative, how does it relate to Swift, all that kind of stuff. All we know is that high-value payment systems are going to be fully disrupted by this. All payment systems, I should say, as well, are going to be disrupted by this. Now, everyone is always like, okay, well, what does this mean? What does this, what's happening around crypto with this? Does this pertain to any assets in crypto? Blah, 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 all that kind of stuff, right? Well, first off, when we look at things happening around ISO migration, this is going to be the entire financial system moving towards a unified standard for financial messaging. So it's going to allow for this fragmented system that we are running on today to be a lot less fragmented. It's going to be, more uniform. It's going to be more interoperable between all of them. Data is going to be the same in terms of the messaging standard, but also it changes everything. So when we look at that, it's going to not only reshape everything around transactions, but it's also going to disrupt the institutions, the market infrastructures, market participants, all of these major players and their use of standards when you are looking at exchanging messaging that facilitates fund transfers, cross-border payments, clearing and settlement, security transactions, reporting, and all other types of financial activity. So this is going to be a plethora of massive disruption to all of these major situations that we look at whenever we look at a transaction, a payment, etc. Now, I said back in November, actually, I quoted a tweet from Anderson because he was talking about the CBDC experiments from Swift, cross-border payments, specifically cross-border CBDC, and how ISO will be 100% crucial to this. And there's two breakdowns of it. There's two major things around this, around digital currencies by Swift and all that kind of stuff. Yesterday, we just talked about how Swift, couldn't facilitate a major shift around like the XRP ledger. They couldn't copy it because there was no public token. But when we look at what ISO is, I said, it doesn't matter if ISO pertains to specific tokens like XRP or not. In my opinion, ISO 20022 will open the door for digitization to be realized across the entire financial sector's landscape. And this is the truth. I mean, listen, whenever you look at ISO, it's to allow for the next evolution of payments and payments revolution to happen. I also believe that ISO with, the combination of Basel 3, which I, again, just talked about yesterday, will be the biggest key events around finance. And even here, like the revised standards of Basel 3 will make banks more resilient and restore confidence in the banking system. So this is going to be a big shift. This is going to be a big thing that happens. I just talked to you guys about it yesterday. January 1st, 2023 is when this does go fully live. And it's happening. Everything is happening around this. And what do I think that the next evolution of payments is going to be? Well, it's going to be digitization, CBDCs, things like that. Although, we don't like CBDCs, well, here you guys have the entire, brain map of how things will work globally around CBDCs and digitization, tokenization, all that kind of stuff. Shout out to XX_1133, 12/20/2011. Love the name. Like I always love to do a shout out to, any information I use in my videos, but, this name is just crazy to me. But nonetheless, they do post a bunch of mind maps around things happening between some of these ledgers, and this is one that's very interesting to me. Excuse me, that has always changed the way that I look at the power and the potential behind XRP. So when we look at this, we have Ripple, we do see central bank digital currencies, all being pushed through the XRP ledger, through the CBDC platform on Ripple. And then you do see the onboard process, the minting process, the distribution process, destroying. Like this is where like they could destroy CBDCs. It's going through transact, redeem, destroy. And then we do see the CBDC platform from Ripple, stability, secure, and resilient. Again, really kind of looking at what Basel 3 was focused on. This is like the big areas: access and inclusion, interoperability and overlay services, sustainability, and then you have XRP, right? So this is the bridge currency. Ripple's main focus point with XRP is to have it as a bridge currency between all banks. They want it to be, they want to position XRP as the bridge currency for tomorrow, today, and yesterday, between CBDCs, between all the major banks. And yeah, I mean, like, this is going to be a huge shift that happens. And I do think that this is a perfect way of really kind of looking at how things will work around Ripple with XRP, as we do start to see CBDCs being pushed more and more. Also, stablecoins, right? I said, if we don't get CBDCs, we'll most likely get stablecoins. Here's from Blockworks. Stablecoins would have been a big help in Iraq and Afghanistan per a former soldier turns crypto hedge fund, CIO. The UN is now betting on them for Ukraine. And here we have, can stablecoins revolutionize foreign aid? The UN thinks so. And what's crazy is that we just seen Argentina. They approved a bill allowing it to issue a blockchain-based dollar-pegged stablecoin. I mean, things are happening around the world between stablecoins and all that kind of stuff. Like, this is insane to me. And recently, we just seen not only Australia, but we've seen Canada, we've seen the United States, and the Bank of England push heavily for CBDC adoption as well as development, and they are moving fast. So for advanced economies, DFCRC believes that wholesale CBDCs are likely to be issued before retail ones, and it raised a few areas where it sees a greater need for wholesale policy discussion. And then over here, next year, the Bank of Canada plans to consult the public on a potential CBDC. Particularly, they want to find out what the public's expectations of digital currency are and what features would be important to them. And then over here, the United States, thanks to Project Cedar, I just reported on this, they are moving into development of a central bank digital currency with the European Central Bank, the Bank of Japan, and even the Bank of England. And the Bank of England just recently posted that they are moving towards a proof of concept for a wallet that will be able to hold a central bank digital currency. Like, this is all happening, and we're not even out of 2022 yet. So when we really look at this, in my opinion, with Ripple positioning XRP as the bridge currency, the global bridge currency, there is just no way that I don't see a future where we are starting to see a big shift around digitization, tokenization, and it's all going to be centered on the global banks. And you could see them preparing it. You could really see all of this being prepared. And going back to this initial video where we have, a discussion of, like, is Ripple still being, a partner of R3's, and they can't talk about it. Very interesting. And the only thing that makes me think about, them working with Ripple still is going back to, like, even Hedera or Quant, where a lot of people ask me, like, okay, when are they going to announce the next major partnership? It's not on them. That's the thing. Like, they don't have any control over that. There's NDAs in place. Like, these non-disclosure agreements, it's a common practice when you look at enterprise, financial institutions, the biggest names in the game. Like, they all work on NDAs, and it keeps them from not only announcing things happening, but they can barely talk about it. Like, there's not a lot of information that can be discussed whenever you look at things happening around, like, these huge partnerships, especially, what they're doing with Ripple or doing with any company. So this is huge to me. And yeah, I do think that this will amount to financial freedom if you are holding the right assets. And I do believe that XRP is one of those right assets. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys have more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As I was up, that you all have a beautiful day, beautiful night, wherever you guys are on this before. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.